Hi everyone, I'm back for Hanukkah part 2, and this is about how we celebrate Hanukkah. So I explained in the last video that Hanukkah is not a religious holiday. It's not like Rosh Hashanah, which is the Jewish New Year, which is super religious, or Yom Kippur. That's like for those of you who are Catholic, who go to confession. Yom Kippur, we only have to confess one day a year. So that's Yom Kippur. Super, super religious. Hanukkah is not. Hanukkah is, again, it's a holiday, commemorating a great, great victory over oppression, and it's a freedom holiday. So it's a super fun holiday, and every family celebrates it differently. I think that with Christmas, of course, everyone has their own traditions, but basically you believe in Santa. Well, Santa comes. You buy presents, you have a Christmas tree. There are just certain basics, like we have our Hanukkah, or our menorah, as some people call it. But the way people actually celebrate Hanukkah is totally different in every family. There are a few guidelines, so if you want to celebrate Hanukkah, even if you're not Jewish, you certainly can, because like I said, it is a freedom holiday. And if you've ever experienced racism or oppression of any kind, you certainly could get yourself I'll just call it a menorah because it's more mainstream. You could get yourself a menorah and some Hanukkah candles, and you could light a candle every night. But before I start telling you about celebrating Hanukkah, I want to explain that most Jewish holidays are celebrated at night, not celebrated during the day. Now there are, again, like I said, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, there are things you do during the day, like go to temple, but every Jewish holiday starts at sundown. So I was in the store the other day, I was in Walmart, and I heard a teenager saying to his parents, I'm wondering if one of them was Jewish, how many days is Hanukkah? We don't celebrate Hanukkah during the day. We only celebrate it at night. You guys have Christmas Day. We have Hanukkah nights. There are 8 nights of Hanukkah, one for each of the nights that the oil burned in the miracle of Hanukkah. But we celebrate as soon as it's sundown, we celebrate. So if you look at a calendar and it says Hanukkah begins, you can't trust that. You have to look online and see when Hanukkah begins, because Jewish people celebrate it at sundown. So what we do is we get our menorah, and you get your Hanukkah candles, and Hanukkah candles can come just like a menorah. They can be any shape or size or color, whatever you want it to be. We have some really, really awesome Hanukkahs/menorahs at our temple gift shop right now. They have one that's a train. They have one that's a VW bus. They have one that have dogs on everything, one that has cats for the candle holders, anything you can imagine you can use to celebrate Hanukkah. And it's the same thing with candles. So I bought this set because I really like the graduated colors. I thought it was really pretty. And then somebody gave me this set, which has all the rainbow colors, which is very pretty. And you need to have enough. You need to have 45 candles. That's why you need to buy Hanukkah candles. And because they have enough in the box to light this for 8 nights. And on the first night, this is the helper candle. If you watch my other video, you'll know this is the helper candle, or the shamash, which means helper in Hebrew. And then the other candles represent each night of Hanukkah. So you always have a helper candle, and then with each night you add successive candles until at the 8th night of Hanukkah, the last night, you have the whole thing is full, and it's brilliant. It is just, I don't know. I think there's something really special about the 8th night of Hanukkah, because you've got all these candles burning. You certainly have to be careful. We always put it on foil. They also sell trays, glass trays and metal trays. We always use foil. I used foil with my girls when they were little. Now, the symbols of Hanukkah that you're going to see are primarily the Hanukkah, or the menorah, the candles. I want to make sure you can see this. Oh, my Midwestern accent's coming out. I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. The candles, the dreidel, which we use for the dreidel game, and the gelt, which is the gold chocolate coins, which I can't believe I don't have any to show you. I took them all to school. I teach preschool, in case you don't know. I took them all to school, and we had a gelt hunt in the classroom. The kids loved it. But I don't have any gelt here. I have to buy some. Well, Hanukkah's not till Sunday, so I have time. So let me show you the different symbols and how we celebrate with them. And then I'll talk about presents. Okay, so what you do when you're setting up your Hanukah or your menorah, you put the shamash wherever it goes. Usually, traditionally, the shamash is in the middle, and I don't have a menorah that has it on the end, but sometimes it's level across and then it's on the end. So first you put your shamash in, and then when you put your first candle in, it's always going to be all the way on the right, facing you. Again, these are the traditions that were established by rabbis over hundreds of years. So, as I'm sure you have in the Christian religion, there are certain traditions, whether you're Catholic or Protestant, that you follow based on your church. So these are the traditions of lighting the menorah or the Hanukah. So you put the shamash in, and then you put it all the way to the right. You start to the right. Now this is your left, but facing me. This is my right. And then I'm not going to light the candles now, but you would light the candles, and then you would light this candle, and then this one's lit already. You light this one with a match, and then you light this with the helper candle. You never light the Hanukkah candles with a match. You use the shamash. There are certain blessings that we say, and basically what they mean, they're in Hebrew. I do speak Hebrew because I lived in Israel for 4 years, but even if you don't speak Hebrew, everybody knows, you learn, not everybody, but most Jewish people know that blessing. And the blessing basically says in English, thank you, God, for the blessing of light and the Hanukkah candles. And then there's another blessing we say just on the first night. And it's like, thank you for bringing me to this place and this time where I'm celebrating what's happening. So I could say one of the blessings for you, just so you could hear it in Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai. That means blessed are you, God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. God, the King of the universe. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav. V'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. So the rest of it's basically saying who brought us to this time and tells us to light I said Shabbat. I meant Hanukkah, the Hanukkah candle. It's basically the same blessing that you use for lighting the Sabbath candles, but it's for Hanukkah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. So that's the blessings. So you say that blessing and a couple others, which I'm not going to belabor you with. And then the next night, and then you're not ever supposed to blow these candles out. You're supposed to let them burn all the way down. Of course, if you're leaving the house, you're going to blow them out. But we try and light the candles when we're not going to leave the house. And then the next night, and you could put any colors you want if you got rainbow colors, you again start from the right. So sometimes people make a mistake and they put the new one here. It's facing you, and it's on the right. And you always light the new candle first. That's a tradition. It's kind of like the guest, you know. The new candle is the guest. So you put one in here, and you light this one, and then this one, put it back in here, and say the blessing. The next night, you put another one in. Again, you start with this one, light, 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 and then say the blessing until you have filled it up. And every night, again, these candles totally burn down. So every night you're putting in all new candles, which is why there are 45 candles in here. So you have enough for 8 nights. Okay, so that's the menorah / Hanukah and the candles. And I guarantee you guys, if you're not Jewish, but you have a Hanukkah section in your supermarket or at Walmart, whatever, you'll see the Hanukkah candles. And now that you know, you can look for them and say, oh, look. Yeah, that's what Susan told me about on her video. Okay, so that's the first thing we do to start to celebrate Hanukkah. Now, like a lot of other cultures, Jews love to eat. And we have traditional foods that we eat for Hanukkah. So we're celebrating the miracle of the oil that burned for 8 nights. So we like to eat foods cooked in oil. Anything fried? Yeah. So the most traditional food, and I looked again, I mean, I'm not cooking tonight because it's not Hanukkah, but is the potato pancake. I think the origin of the potato pancake might be in Russia, but I would have to look it up, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to show you a picture of, on the computer, of potato pancakes. Oh, this lighting is so bad. Oh, that's actually better if I keep it back. All right, you may have these in your supermarket and not even know it, because a lot of the deli sections in supermarkets, maybe not down south so much, but definitely in other supermarkets, they have these potato pancakes. They taste kind of like hash browns, but they're better. And they're round. Usually these are homemade ones. You can buy frozen ones in the Jewish section. A lot of supermarkets now have the frozen ones. But basically the idea is that you grate up a lot of potatoes. I used to do it by hand. Oh my God. That's nuts! Now I use the food processor. But anyway, you grate the potatoes and you grate an onion, depending on how much you're cooking. So let's say you take a 5-pound bag of potatoes. You take half of them. You would use 1 big onion to grate with that. And then my recipe, which is an Israeli recipe that I just love, you also grate 1 apple. And it gives it just the slightest bit of sweet. And then you add eggs and salt. And then some people add flour. My recipe uses matzah meal. And matzah meal is basically ground up matzahs, so it's almost like flour, but I just think it gives it more of a Jewish feel than using flour. And, oh my God. And then you just mix it together and you drop it in hot oil and, so good. Sorry, this is my tea. I love my Turkey Hill tea. Yeah. Anyway, and then you eat it with applesauce, traditionally, and or sour cream. And it's so good with both, really. You're probably thinking, oh, sour cream, yeah. But it really is amazing with latkes. So you can call them potato pancakes or latkes. Latkes. L-A-T-K-A-S. L-A-T-K-E-S. Latkes. Oh, latkes. So good. The problem is I'm spoiled because I just love my own latkes, so I never buy the ones in the deli. I figure they're just not going to taste that good. Plus, they should be hot and crispy right from the pan. So, I always make latkes. The girls come in because, you know, they're grown up now. And they come in and I always make latkes once during Hanukkah, and delish. So good. So that's the most traditional food that's eaten during Hanukkah, and the other is donuts. And I remember when I was living in Israel, it was something you could not, when I was living in Israel, which was a long time ago, it was like 35 years ago, it was a long time ago, they didn't have Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's or anything like that. Now they do. I was back there about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe longer, when my mother passed, because she lived over there. She moved over there. And everything's over there now. McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, it's crazy. But when I was living there, when I was young, very young, in college, you couldn't buy donuts except at Hanukkah time. And then every street corner had a donut stand. It was amazing. And in Hebrew, they're called sufganiot. Yummy. But now, of course, you know, here in this country, we have Dunkin' Donuts. So people go out and you serve donuts and latkes and yummy. So those are the main foods that we eat for Hanukkah. Oil, fried foods. I used to make also a chicken cutlet with it. Anything fried counts for Hanukkah. Okay, so then we have the game, the dreidel game. So if you look at a Hanukkah decoration, you can see it's shaped like a top, and it has Hebrew letters on it, and these letters stand for something. And if you look at my cards here, well, here are the menorahs, but where's the... Here's a dreidel here. You can't see it that well. Let's see. Let me show you. Can you see it? The dreidel and a piece of gelt. I'm not sure what you're seeing. Oh, okay, well, hopefully that came through. And it's a game that you play. And I was reading online because I know about dreidels, but I wanted to really be informed before I did this video that the dreidel, actually, I thought it was German, but I was reading that it came from England like hundreds of years ago to Germany, the top. And then it evolved into the dreidel, and it became, I think back in like the 1500s or 1600s, it became part of the Hanukkah celebration. Excuse me. And what people did is they took the dreidel and they put letters on to represent the Hanukkah miracle. So each side has a Hebrew letter on it, and it stands for something, which I'll tell you in a minute, and they have to be in a specific order. And I can always tell when a Hanukkah decoration is made, like in China, and hasn't been researched well, because the letters are wrong, or they're in the wrong order. It has to be in a specific order. A dreidel, again, like a menorah, Hanukkah, or the candles, can look like anything. It can be made out of wood. It can be made out of plastic. I was going to show you a picture, but I've got dreidels in my hand, so I don't need to show you a picture. So I just thought these were really cool because they're clear and they're kind of neon colors, so I thought they were really cool. But every dreidel will have the exact same letters on it, unless you live in Israel, and then one letter is different. So let me tell you about the letters really quick. Let's see. Let me get a good view of this. The Nes. Here we go. Okay. So this is the Nun. Is that the Nun? Yeah. No. It's hard to see when I'm filming. Here's the Nun. The Nun. Nun. Gimel. Hey. Shin. Okay. Now what it stands for is Nes. This is Hebrew I'm saying to you. Gadol. Haya, Sham. And what that means is a miracle, a great miracle happened there. Now, if you live in Israel, because that's where the miracle happened, then instead of the last letter, which is Shin, it'll have a different letter, because if you live in Israel, a great miracle happened here. So these dreidels are dreidels made outside of Israel because they have a Shin on them. It's got 3 things on it there, and the Shin means there, like meaning Israel. In Israel it has a Pei, which means here. So, but in this country, every dreidel you buy will have this on it. So now the game, so that reminds us of the miracle of Hanukkah, but the game, each letter has a meaning in the game. All right, so if you get a Nun, so basically you take the chocolate coins, or you can use pennies, or back in the day, I mean, like a couple hundred years ago, they used to use nuts because they didn't have coins. But now what you do is you use the chocolate coins, and I am going to show you a picture of the chocolate coins. And we're almost done. I know I'm going on a little bit, but if you're really interested, I'm guessing you're still with me. Okay, so these are the chocolate coins, and again, you could see these in most stores. This actually has the menorah on it, the 7-branched menorah, because these are made in Israel. And these are chocolate coins, and they don't have to be gold. They can be colored, like at Party City, they just sell colored chocolate coins all year round. But everybody basically gets a handful of coins, and then you throw some in the pot. It's like a gambling game, basically. And then each letter, and then you spin a dreidel. You can use one dreidel. Say you're playing with 4, 5, 6 people. You can use one dreidel for everybody, or everyone can have their own dreidel. But you spin one at a time. And then what it lands on tells you what you do. So, if it lands on the Nun, then, is that the Nun? There's the Nun. The Nun and the Gimel look very much alike. I have to look at it to see. All right, here's the Nun. If it lands on Nun, you do nothing. And I think that's easy to remember because it makes the same N sound. Nun, nothing. This is how I teach my kids at school. And if you get the Gimel, you win the whole pot. But the thing is, when you're playing dreidel, you keep going. Like, nobody wins until you decide to stop. So you get whatever's in the pot. So you scoop the whole pot if you get Gimel, and then everybody puts one in again. Keep going. And then Nun, Gimel, And then hay is half. You get half the pot. Again, I remember hay, half. Okay? And gimel, get. So that's not what it means, but nun, nothing. It sounds the same. Gimel, get. It means you get the whole thing. Hay is half. You get half the pot. And shin, put one in. So that one is kind of the rhyme. So it's nun, nothing. Gimel, get. Hay, half. Shin, put one in. And basically you just play until you're tired of playing anymore. And you can play with real money too if you want, but generally people play with gelt, chocolate coins. Now, gelt means money. And again, you know, a couple hundred years ago, people used to play with nuts. And for Hanukkah, excuse me, people started giving gelt to their kids as a Hanukkah present, probably like 100 years ago. And so gelt was real money. It was before they came up with the chocolate coins. I need another drink because I'm talking so much. So back again, 100 years ago, if you said, do you have any gelt, meant money. And it's not Hebrew, it's Yiddish. Yiddish is a combination of Hebrew and German and some other languages, but basically Hebrew and German. That's another video. So, but nowadays, gelt is just associated with the chocolate coins. And so we had a gelt hunt at school. And also every child at the end of this week, when everybody goes home, will get a bag of gelt. I might hear my daughter coming in. Why do I worry about that? Anyway, if she comes in, I'll just ignore her. So, that I think that's basically it. We light the menorah or the Hanukkah. And also now, some people decorate, like I'm going to hang up some decorations. Some people even put up blue lights for Hanukkah. You'll see a lot of blue and white associated with the holiday of Hanukkah because those are the colors of the Israeli flag. So they're considered the colors of the Jewish people. But over the years, a lot more color has come into Hanukkah. So you'll see a lot more color in Hanukkah cards and Hanukkah wrapping paper. Everything used to be just blue and white. It's really nice to see more colors, or the colorful Hanukkah candles. Now, there are two more things I want to tell you. Thank you for sticking with me this long. One is the word Hanukkah. Why is it spelled so many funny ways? It could be C-H-A-N, or it could be just an H. It's because Hanukkah is a Hebrew word. So whenever you take a word that's not from the English language and you try and write it, there's no right spelling for it. So Hanukkah can be written 3 or 4 different ways. It doesn't matter. It's not relevant. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you is about the different ways people celebrate Hanukkah. Everybody does these typical things with the dreidel and the menorah and the gelt and the latkes. Everybody does that. But as far as presents go, that is a very different thing. Like I said, maybe 100 years ago, people only did money. They would give their kids money, little coins, gelt coins that were real coins. And then over the last, I don't know, probably 50, 60 years, it's changed drastically. So also to keep up with Christmas. So some people like to only give one big gift on the last night. Some people like to give, and this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video about how every family is different. Some give just a little token gift every night, and some people give like a lot of gifts every night. So I was one of those, in case you couldn't guess, because I had 3 daughters, and I just, like I said, it's hard for Jewish kids at Christmas time. And it's funny because sometimes you'll hear kids who celebrate Christmas saying, "You're so lucky, you get presents for 8 nights." But not everybody does that. But we did. My husband hated it. He said, "Well, you're making it a Jewish Christmas." And I was like, well, yeah, I want it to be fun. So anyway, so everybody has their own traditions about exchanging presents and even maybe what kind of latkes they eat and when they get together. And some people have electric menorahs they put in the window, you know, but I just think the whole point is to celebrate it and have fun, because whether it's an important holiday, whether it's a religious holiday or not, it's a fun holiday. And we try and make it as fun as we can make it. And so that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And thank you for listening to me. I know this was a bit long, but Hopefully you learned something, and I will see you guys soon. I love you guys. Bye.